A lot of phones have launched under the Poco brand, but their first was their best, don't you think? I mean, even today, I see Poco and in my head I go F1. Well, we are at the F4 now, and with this Poco, have they been able to recapture that initial magic once again? What's actually on offer this time around? Let's find out. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon. Let's get started. First off, let's take a look at what we get with the box, which is typical Poco black and yellow. Cutting through the seals, it seems to be resealed, probably due to customs opening it up in transit. Anyway, let's now get to what's on the inside. We first have a yellow insert that houses a SIM ejector tool, an information booklet, followed by a soft TPU case. We then get to the Poco F4 itself. The design here, it seems very similar to what we've been seeing with the Redmi K50 series. It's not identical, but you know what? Let's get to that in a bit. We then have a USB Type-A to Type-C cable with orange accents, and finally a 67-watt charger in the box, and that's pretty much it for the box contents. I recently did a video on display issues thousands of S20 Plus users have been facing, and the fact that Samsung has been asking 17 to 20,000 rupees to fix an issue that is their fault. Anyways, one of those affected users has created a change.org petition requesting Samsung to stop ignoring them and actually acknowledge this hardware issue. I think that's the right thing to do here. Mistakes do happen, and when they do, brands need to take ownership. They need to step up. Now, if you do agree with that line of thinking and feel that an end user buying a flagship phone from a brand like Samsung shouldn't be asked to pay almost 20,000 rupees of their hard-earned money for a mistake that the manufacturer made, if you want to actually support them, please spare a moment, click the link in the description below and sign the petition. It's going to take you 15 seconds max, but your signature could help make a change. So please go on and do it. Let's get to that Redmi K50 similarity I touched upon earlier. When I first looked at the Poco F4, I thought it looked identical to the K50 series. They probably just changed the chip on the K50. That's what I thought. But upon closer inspection, I did notice a few other differences. For example, the back on the K50, it curves, but it's flat on the F4. While the camera module looks about the same, it's not as elevated on the Poco. The F4 is also slimmer and even slightly lighter. The reason for this is because, of course, they are different phones, but how Poco's actually managed to make this slimmer and lighter is by going with a lower capacity battery. If you remember, the K50 Pro had a 5000 mAh unit, here we get 4500 mAh. That said, I still expect the battery life to be good. Now, Poco claims 0 to 50 in just 11 minutes with full charge in 37. Good stuff, really good. The placements, they remain unchanged. Power and volume keys to the right. The power key, it has a fingerprint scanner built in. The IR blaster alongside the secondary speaker and microphone, they sit up top. There's nothing to the left, and the bottom houses the primary microphone, speaker, USB Type-C port and the SIM tray, which can take 2 SIM cards, and Poco does offer support for 10 5G bands. Pretty decent. Now, the F4, it's not without its own cons. The sides that you just saw, they're made out of plastic. There's no headphone jack, there's no support for micro SD. Guys, given they have made changes from the K50 as we just saw, adding micro SD would have been icing on the cake. It would have been really sweet. I mean, you guys do realize that as of today, with the exception of Sony, no one else consistently offers micro SD support along the entire line. It's really sad to see another consumer favorite feature being killed off this way. Anyways, in hand, the F4, it feels nice to use. The flat back gives it a kind of sort of boxy feel. The edge is a little too sharp for my liking. If I end up spending enough time with this to review it, I have a feeling I'm not gonna really like this design too much, because the sharp edges, they usually don't work for me. Anyways, let's save that for the review. The back is glass, though Poco hasn't confirmed if it's just toughened glass or something special like Gorilla. Usually when brands don't specify, odds are it's the former. That said, this does look nice, especially the green variant. They're calling this Nebula Green. There's also a night black, and Poco's even got an IP53 rating here. The display, it's Xiaomi's favorite size, 6.67 inches. Again, we have some changes from the K50 series. This is a Full HD Plus panel, E4 AMOLED, and for protection, they've used Gorilla Glass 5, and that they've mentioned. This panel looks fantastic. Punchy with excellent contrast and viewing angles. There's support for HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision, which coupled with the stereo speakers should make media consumption a pleasant experience. There's really not much to complain about with this panel. 120Hz refresh, 360Hz touch sampling, 1300 nit peak brightness. If I had to nitpick, I'd say maybe they should have gone with the in-display fingerprint scanner. Personally, I just find those more comfortable. What about you? What do you personally prefer? I mean, not even prefer, do you see side-mounted scanners as a downgrade? I mean, when the rest of the phone is good, as it is here, I don't really mind a side-mounted scanner. That's how I see it. It's a little compromise, but if the rest of the things are great, then it's okay, I can live with it. How about you? Do you feel the same, or do you actually find side-mounted scanners more convenient? Let me know in the comments below. Under the hood, we have a Snapdragon 870 running the show. This is Qualcomm's pseudo-flagship SoC from 2021. Realistically, a slight refresh of their flagship chip from 2020. And if Poco can nail the pricing here, keep it at around 25,000-30,000 rupees, then I'd say it's a killer chip for that price. The 870 here is paired with 6, 8 or 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. Poco's gone with a large vapor chamber for cooling, and the F4 seems to handle thermals quite well. A 15-minute CPU throttle test ended with the F4 retaining above 90% peak performance, which is excellent. Nothing new to talk about the software here. It's MIUI 13 for Poco, built atop Android 12. Given the hardware, it's pretty smooth sailing. The F4 feels responsive, apps are quick to launch, and I didn't run into any lag, not that I expected to. And even when you push the SoC, say with gaming, the thermals, as we saw with that throttle test, they seem to have been handled quite well. So the performance was consistent. The phone didn't feel too hot either. The gaming experience, I'd call it excellent. I mean, it's the Snapdragon 870 after all. We've seen so many implementations of this. So it's no surprise how well it manages to run games here on the F4. Talking about gaming, Game Turbo returns, letting you quickly swap to the performance profile or launch apps in small windows to make sure your gaming experience doesn't get interrupted. Again, it's all things we've seen in the past already. We have a triple camera setup to the back. The primary is a 64 megapixel sensor paired with an optically stabilized f1.8 lens. The images seem promising. They're detailed, though the primary camera strays a little bit to the warmer side, which you will notice better when I show you these ultrawides. When you see them side by side, you can see the difference in color, but it's minor. Overall, I find both sensors to perform quite nicely. With video, you can shoot 4K at up to 60 FPS and the footage is quite pleasant. Stable, detailed, decent dynamic range, as you can see here when I end the shot shooting the sun directly. For selfies, Poco's gone with a 20 megapixel f2.45 setup, and it gets the job done. There's ample detail, the skin tones are accurate, no complaints with the dynamic range either. As of shooting this video, I'm not sure what the pricing is gonna be, but assuming Poco prices this below 30,000 rupees, especially if it's closer to 25k, then the Poco F4 looks to be a very strong offering, well worthy of its lineage. Anyways, by the time you guys are watching this video, the price would already be out. If you've not caught the price announcement, then check the pinned comment or the description. I'll leave the pricing there. So let me know what you actually think about it. What do you think of the F4 as a phone? Leave a comment down below, and while you're down there, hit that thumbs up or thumbs down button based on what you felt about this video. Also subscribe and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And I guess that's it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.